Data Dive, infinite insights instantly. Welcome to Biz Talk, everyone. I am your host today, Rachel Weaver, and I am excited to have a very special guest with me today, Mr. John Mitchell. John has been working in the tax field since 1990. He holds a Master of Science in Taxation and holds both a law license and an enrolled agent license. John is a member of the National Association of Enrolled Agents and the National Association of Tax Professionals. He is on the board of directors of the Texas Society of Enrolled Agents and the Greater Houston chapter of Texas TXSEA. John, thank you so much for being with us today. We are thrilled to have you on the show.
Rachel, believe you me, the pleasure is all on this side of the table. I am very excited, very happy to be here with you. And I am so happy to be able to share some good knowledge and good information that's going to be able to make people out there be empowered and, live their best life. So it is a pleasure to be here with you.
So excited to dive right into some really great questions, especially this time of year where we are all starting off our year and planning. Tax season is around the corner, so we are just really thrilled to have you. Today, we are going to talk about family and business partner dynamics. So, how can I address potential conflicts among family members or business partners in estate planning process?
Well, Rachel, that is a very important question, and that comes up, literally all the time where we're asked about that. And one of the things to always remember, I was taught this at a very young age in my business education. Family is the first ones that's going to be problematic when you start talking about business, and especially whenever there is money on the table. And a lot of the conflict happens when there is a lack of precision. In other words, people don't necessarily know what to expect, right? So I think one of the most important things that people can do to keep there from being conflicts, and again, once there's money on the table, bets are off. People start acting weird once there's money involved, right? And one of the big problems is you expect this and you get that, right? And so it's very important to have well-defined everybody's expectations up front so that, let's say there's a family business and there's a father that started the business and he's been running it for years. And now, he's getting ready to retire or, God help us, he's going to pass away. And now there's two sons, and each one of the sons thinks he's going to be the one that's going to, have the business in the end. And there's a lack of clarity. No, it hasn't really been talked out thoroughly. And so the expectations are one thing and the reality is another. And that is where I see most of the conflict coming about. And then people start acting irrationally and they start saying, well, when I was 12, dad loved you more and, this kind of thing, right? And so when you get a family dynamic involved in business, I mean, a lot of people just say straight up, don't mix business and family. And that's not a bad way to go about it. But if you're going to do it, the very best thing you can do is have the expectations, everybody's expectations in line, and everybody's going to know what's going to happen in the end. And that's going to avoid quite a bit of problems if you can just have that. Be clear from the very, from the get-go, right? That's what I would say is the number one thing.
Yeah, such an important thing. I've seen it far too many times, more than I'd like to admit. And yeah, I definitely can't agree with you more on that thought process of maybe consider let's not mix business and family. But so oftentimes it does happen. Hopefully, you take the initiatives to plan and put things in place so there's clarity, there's no confusion, which can then often eliminate some of these painful conversations and irrational thoughts that come to mind when a tragedy does happen. So, such great insight. Can you tell us, are there ways to ensure that my business's management and ownership structure align with the wishes of the stakeholders?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's another thing. So that plays off of the first question. Now, the next question is, okay, make sure everybody's expectations are understood, and make sure that everybody understands what's going to happen. But the other thing is, once you've made that determination, because I mean, honestly or otherwise, people tend to forget. Years go by and they forget the details of what was decided. How are we going to do it? And now I don't remember because these are very stressful times. Change is tough. Change is difficult. And so people are going through changes, maybe even up to and including the death of a loved one. And so add to that the stress of trying to take over a business and manage it. I mean, I think that one of the biggest things, and I've hammered this time and time again, like they say in real estate, location, location, location. Well, planning, planning, and more planning, right? So plan early and plan often and keep on planning. So one of the things you want to do is make sure once these expectations are all lined out and everybody knows what to expect, when dad goes on to happier hunting grounds, which one of the two sons is going to take the lead in the business, so to speak, given that example. And so then what you want to do is have all of that in writing. And so it's going to be very important to have updated and constantly, I would say at least on a yearly or bi-yearly basis, to be up, going through those plans, have a sit down formal family meeting and say, okay, pull out, blow the dust off of the business plan and say, okay, operating agreement. What are we going to do? How are we going to update it? Make sure that everything's in writing and everything is clearly lined out. And that's going to be, those documentation, man, that's going to be your best friend, when everything goes down, because that's what you're going to be able to rely on. And you're going to know that those documents were prepared, everybody participated, and it was done when everybody was thinking clearly and everybody it was in their right state of mind. And that's going to be very important. You're going to be glad that you took those initiative and did that up front.
Love that. Such great information. So, what provisions can be made to protect the interest of non-active family members or partners?
One of the things that I've seen done, make use of trust, and trust can have a trustee that's looking out for the interest of beneficiaries. So and that is a fiduciary duty once you have a trust established. And so even if people are not active in the business, but they have an interest, if there's a trust established, that's going to give you some protection with that obligation to act as a fiduciary. When you're a fiduciary, you have to act in the best interest of whoever the beneficiary is. So that would be one way to go about it. And there can be language in operating agreements and such, so that things can be mediated between the parties. There can be protections put into place, and that is very important. Again, just like question number two. So one thing rolls over into the other, right? So just like question number two, get all of that set up beforehand and know how it's going to work, and that way everybody can be protected. That's going to be probably your best bet.
Mm-hmm. Such great information. Truly appreciate that. So tell us, where can we find you?
Absolutely. Well, if you're looking for me, I am not hard to find. We are at Cantrell and Cantrell, which is just south of downtown here in Houston, Texas. We're in the Greenway Plaza area. But never fear if you're not in the Houston area. We have clients in different states in the United States and even internationally. So we can be found on the internet, cctaxlaw.com. I can be reached on the telephone, 713-333-0555. And also, you can send me an email, and my email is jmitchell@cctaxlaw.com. I don't charge in it for an initial consultation. So if you think you might need a lawyer, especially for even estate planning or any of that stuff, but especially taxes, that's my forte. So you can contact me, and somebody in our firm will probably be able to help you if your situation is anywhere in that general realm of subject matter. So we're very happy to talk to you. I'll talk to just about anybody. So give me a call or shoot me an email. No problem at all.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to have you with us today, John. And we look forward to having you back again very, very soon. With that, we will be right back after this commercial break.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure, and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Welcome back to Biz Talk. I am your host, Rachel Weaver, and I have a very special guest with me today, Miss Linda Hamilton. Linda, it is such an honor and pleasure to have you with us today. Linda is an incredible CEO, and she is doing a lot in the terms of helping coach, grow, scale, and profit businesses with women. Is that correct, Linda?
Yes, that's right. I really enjoy working with women business owners, helping them build profitable, resilient businesses.
I love that. Well, I'm excited to dive right in. Can you tell us, why should people use a one-page business plan?
I love that question because it's often people think a business plan has to be a very long document. I use a variation of the one-page business plan created by Jim Horan, and he was a friend and mentor of mine. It's been used by thousands of business owners, sales teams, corporate departments, for more than 20 years. And I like to quote Jim when he says, the one-page plan does something outrageous. It causes very busy people to stop and think. And just to get around a few myths about writing a business plan, those are that it has to be long to be good, that it we'll have no use for it after we write it. It's only good for financing, and it's that tedious, long process that takes months. And my business is too small. None of that is true. We have successfully used this one-page business plan to capture people's ideas about their business that are all in their heads.
I absolutely love that. I know that I was one of those people for a long time that just dreaded writing a business plan, but really, because I am a creative thinker and I have so many ideas, it really helped me stay focused when I do sit down and write business plans. And now for every business, before I start, I write a plan. And I try to really stick to that. And it's really helped me in so many ways. It's to help keep me grounded and focused. And I've been able to grow. So I love that you said that. Tell us, what should be the key components of a one-page business plan?
That's a great question. And I'm glad you said you write plans, because businesses that plan do grow 30% faster. That's what statistics show. So there are 5 components on a page, or 5 sections, so to speak. The first is your vision. Where are you taking this business? What is it going to look like in 3 years? Who will you be selling to? It will be national, will it be local? Who's your niche? What hat are you wearing as the business owner? Are you still in the weeds as the technician, or are you wearing a CEO strategic visioning hat? The second section is a mission, or your purpose. Some people call it your why. Why does your business exist? And who do you serve as your customers? For example, when I work with clients in my Grow Profit Scale, my mission is to help women business owners build profitable and resilient companies so that they thrive. So it's a short mission. It really helps you guide your decisions of the type of business you take on each year. The next section is goals. Goals or objectives. We want those to be aligned with vision and mission, because otherwise you're going in a direction you never planned to go. So it's really important to have that alignment. Do you want to grow fast and furious, or slow and steady? What are your goals for increasing profits? Maybe for decreasing things we want less of. Those are things you can put in the plan. And the last 2 sections, one is strategies. How are we going to grow this business? How are we going to meet those goals we just wrote about growth and profitability? And then action plans, kind of the big projects, not a to-do list, because we are fitting it on a page. And that basically says that because 60% of business owners around and CEOs around the world said that the reason strategies fail is due to lack of execution. So we need that action plan to help motivate us to be accountable.
Yes, I absolutely love that. What would you say are the best practices for updating and using a one-page business plan effectively?
Well, because it's designed to be very, it's an easy, fast way to write a plan, right? And to actually set the goals. So it really simplifies your planning process, and it captures your thoughts about the direction you're taking your business. So that helps you set clear goals and strategies. And, what do you actually want to put on paper? And once you put it on paper, that's what you're going to focus on for, say, the next 12 months. Your vision might look forward for the next 3 years. But in a short term, we want to say, how are we tracking on this business plan for the next 30 days? Where are we going for the next quarter? And so that's a best practice, is revisiting your plan, reviewing it. What if you have goals in there that you haven't made any progress on. Well, maybe it's the wrong time for that goal. Maybe you want to write something different in your plan because you're not ready for that yet, or you've chosen a different direction. And it's very easy to adjust the plan because it's one page. We don't have to take out a 50-page document and adjust it and tweak it or pivot. As you know, we have so many uncertainties with the economy, and that's kind of a fact of business.
I absolutely love that. I know for me personally, and for so many people I know, following these strategies, I'm going to tell everyone to make sure they're tuning in and watching this, because there's no better time right now at this time of year when people are setting goals. I believe we can rewrite our business plan almost every year, or we should in our planning process as we're going through planning for the quarter. Sitting down and following these strategies can really help us to grow profit and scale our businesses. But in actuality, they really can keep us on focus and on point so that we don't get off course and we stay laser focused on the things that we need to focus on to grow profit and scale.
That's exactly right. Well put. It is a wonderful focus tool. And will really help you with the direction you're taking your business, and lots of time to tweak the goal if you need to make adjustments throughout the year.
Absolutely. And do you think it's ever too often to really sit down and evaluate your business plan? Would you suggest a team going over that plan maybe quarterly? Or what would your recommendation be to follow this business plan, especially as you're growing a bigger and bigger team and bringing new people in?
That's a great question. And so I've used this business plan in workshops I've been teaching for the last 10 years. So hundreds of business owners in my groups with Women's Business Enterprise Council have used it as a tool. We recommend, at a minimum quarterly, but you really want to do it monthly because you're involving your team in the decisions when they're looking at the goals, or maybe your, progress isn't happening, or it could be a lack of capacity. It could be that maybe you need a certain skill that's not on your team, so that you have time. If you're not talking about it, it's not happening. So I think because it's that single page, you can easily share it with your team, and you can have focused discussions. And the power of brainstorming in a group, there's nothing better than that, because otherwise you're in a silo, right? You have a tunnel vision and don't see the whole picture that your team sees.
Well, I know I want to go through one of your programs. So tell us where to find you.
You can find me on LinkedIn. I would look for Linda A. Hamilton. I am a CPA, and while I don't, I'm the actress who is the Terminator. I terminate tax and business challenges. So you'll find me on LinkedIn, or Grow Profit Scale is my consulting practice, or LAHCPAs.com for tax and accounting strategies and compliance.
Thank you so much. We look forward to having you back again very soon. Connect with Linda over on LinkedIn, everyone. See what she has going on, when her next event is happening, so that you can take part and learn from this amazing person. So thank you, Linda. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, Rachel.
And we will be right back.
What if this happened to you when you're alone? Or what if it happened here? With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, expiration, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Don't wait. Call us to get your Care Watch right now. Operators are standing by.
Hi, my name is Michelle Merhar. You may remember me from the morning news. I'd like to tell you how getting data and documents into action fast gives you a competitive edge. Digital-first thinking to manage document workflows efficiently are giving all organizations a competitive edge. In fact, digital document automation is an essential process, helping us to become more profitable and to compete. By making any process paperless with secure automation, decisions can be made efficiently, virtually from anywhere. You'll be able to find and share documents securely in seconds. Your staff will be empowered by making optimal use of every office hour. And by the way, the size of your organization doesn't matter. Precision Products has been helping organizations for more than 30 years with paper to digital processes, including scanning systems for any document to premises and cloud document management systems. We make it easy and scalable for your business process needs from the office or other locations, even mobile devices. Contact us to see how we can help your organization succeed. Contact Will Waterall direct at 713-446-5939 and visit us on the web at precisionproductsinc.com.
Welcome back to Biz Talk, everyone. I am your host, Rachel Weaver. I am so excited to have with me today Nora Al-Masri. Nora, it is such an honor and pleasure to have you. Nora is an enrolled agent with the IRS, the founder and CEO of Nora's Books, and an international best-selling author. Nora, it's such a pleasure always.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I am excited today to talk about nonprofit management, common misconceptions that happen in the nonprofit world. I think some of these happen in all businesses, but especially in the nonprofit world. So I'm excited to dive right in and ask you a few questions, being the expert that you are.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it because there are so many, but we try to cover as the most important misconceptions.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, what are some of the common misconceptions about nonprofit management, and how can debunking these improve organizational leadership?
So the really misconception in nonprofit, they think they should be running their nonprofits by board members or volunteers, which board members are usually volunteers anyway. But how can you run a nonprofit which considered a business? So nonprofit is a business. In order to actually be successful, you cannot run it just like a side hustle without considering it as a business. So how can you make that nonprofit, which you should run as a business, be successful with only volunteers? Keep in mind, whether those volunteers are just like volunteers doing anything in the nonprofit or our board members, they have their lives, they have their jobs, they have their families, they have a lot of things going on top of the nonprofits, let alone that maybe they have like so many nonprofits they're involved in. So how can they keep focusing and really give 100% to the nonprofit and make it successful. Realistically, they cannot do that even if they wanted to. It's just not realistic. It cannot be happening. So you really need to have a management team. You really need to build the capacity of the nonprofit by hiring people, by making the board members doing what they're supposed to do, not making them the executives for the nonprofit. They should facilitate the access for the nonprofit leaders. They should just approve, evaluate, not really run the nonprofit, because since they have their job, they have other stuff to do. How long can you wait for them to make a decision? A whole year can pass by with just waiting for one simple decision can be done in 1 hour. If there are policies, if there are like system and employee in place.
Mm-hmm. So true. Such good insight there. I think that a lot of us get caught up and I know I'm involved in several nonprofits and it can be overwhelming. So everything you said rings so true and sounds so on point. With sometimes I feel like we can't do it all, really. So just like you said, even if we want to, we try, but we just can't. So
I've been there. I've been there, and I was like, okay, this is what I learned the hard way. I'm trying to let people know, okay, please stop doing this.
Yes, love that. So regarding nonprofit finances, what's a prevalent misconception, and how does understanding really contribute to better management when we understand the finance side?
So I want to talk about like money coming in and money goes out. So coming in, a lot of nonprofits think the only way to bring money is really grants, or maybe this is the large money. And this is no further than the truth, because actually more than 64% of funds come to nonprofits from individual donations. Not only that, they think they can sell products and this way they can raise money. Well, think about it. How much are you going to get from each product? Usually those are small products. They cost you money. You need to have a space for inventory. Even if you're using Amazon, for example, and you don't have a space for that, you still cannot rely on that to bring you income. Yeah, products are great sometimes to get the name out for awareness, but not for fundraising. Another thing they think is like having a gala will raise all the money. Well, you cannot have a gala each month, so therefore, do you want to wait all year to have a gala or two? That's raise money, plus gala cost money. So these are the wrong way to get funded. So a lot of nonprofit leaders, when I speak to them, they think those are the only way to get funding, because they said people are not responding to me. Well, they're not responding to you because you're not getting to ideal donors. See how many nonprofits are there? More than 1.8 million in the US alone. So if you are not tapping into your individual ideal donors, you're not going to be able to get that funds you're looking for. Another misconception with money going out, a lot of nonprofits, and I'm not sure where did this come from, but they think they have to deplete their bank account every single year. Well, if you're depleting your bank account, how are you going to build your capacity? How are you going to pay your people? How are you going to be consulted? How are you going to respond to emergency for your programs? So my thinking, this maybe came from grants. When you have grants, you have a period of time to use it. And if you don't use it, you have to return it. Not all of them, some of them. So maybe this came from this, but this is a specific case to specific grants, to specific agreements, not for everything in a nonprofit. So the leader of the nonprofit have to be careful and this issue. Don't run and rush to deplete your money if it's not something you agreed on with a funder for a specific grants.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Very good. Very good information, because I do think that a lot of people, although I'm someone who would love to go to a gala every month, no, no, they're so expensive to put on. And so oftentimes it's like you are banking on things to be auctioned just to pay for the gala. And then it's like, we spend all this money on the gala and we have hardly anything to actually put into our nonprofit. So I've been there far too many times. I know all too well. I've seen this.
I enjoy events as well. Like I love organizing events and being at them, but they're not, unless they are actually targeting a specific thing and you already have the fund to support them. Like you said, you don't want to have a gala just to cover the cost of the gala. Then how are you going to support your beneficiaries, right?
So true. And I think it happens more often than not.
Yeah, that's true.
So Rick, how do you address the misconceptions for nonprofit leaders that focus on the mission and not worry about business strategies?
I'll ask them one question. How are you expecting to fulfill a mission that does not have a strategy behind it? Even as simple as putting your personal goals, if you do not have a strategy for your personal goals to achieve it, you are not expected to actually accomplish that goal. So when we talking about having a mission for a nonprofit that's trying to create an impact, how are you going to achieve that without a business strategy? I like to say to people, and which is very true, if you are not ready to run your nonprofit as a business, then you are not ready to run a nonprofit. And this is actually what inspired me to write my latest book, which was made it actually to best-selling to Amazon last week. And it was all about like, are you ready to create your own nonprofit and manage it? Or do you need help from other people to manage it for you and you just like being a board member there? Or maybe you want to support another nonprofit. And if you are in a nonprofit right now, are you struggling or not? So maybe because you don't have a strategy, maybe because you don't know what managing a nonprofit is going to entail.
Very good. Wow. Such great points to bring up and think about. So should nonprofits avoid investing in professional development or technology due to budget constraints? And how can embracing these elements enhance successful management?
So they have to actually be efficient and more professional than any business as a nonprofit. Why? Because if you look at the IRS codes for nonprofit organization, you will see they have the largest section in there, largest than any business. So you really, all eyes on the nonprofit. So if you are not doing a professional work, and you cannot do it without a staff, without actually building the capacity of your team, having a team in a place, having experienced board members who know when to get involved and when not to get involved, you're not going to fulfill the mission. You're not going to actually be efficient and professional in managing the nonprofit. Plus, everything in nonprofit is public information. So imagine that 990, which is the tax returns for the nonprofit at the end of the year, being a public document is not professional enough. How can you drive more major donors and more funders to your nonprofit if you are not able to do that? You cannot do that without having built the capacity of your nonprofits.
Such great information. Thank you so much. Tell us where we can find you.
So you can get to my website at noorasbooks.com/contact to book a call with me. All social media is linked there, and you can purchase my book under noorasbooks.com/books. And I can't wait to talk to you, and because tax season is here.
Thank you so much, Nora. And with that, we will be right back after commercial break.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
Welcome back to Biz Talk, everyone. I am your host, Rachel Weaver. I'm thrilled to have with me today the beautiful Lisa Brooking. She is the CEO of Health Code Medical. She is a dynamic healthcare leader with a proven track record in both private and public sectors. Starting as a critical care nurse, she champions high-quality person-centered care, prioritizing patient well-being. Thank you so much for being with us today, Lisa. It's such an honor and pleasure to have you.
Thanks, Rachel, for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you today about what is functional medicine. How does functional medicine differ from traditional medicine in its approach to treatment?
Functional medicine gets to that root cause. So unlike sick care, where we wait to get sick and then we're on medications that provide a bandage effect, we get to the root cause and we solve the problem, and then we can move forward. So in order to prioritize your health, you need to understand what's going on so you can solve the problem and move forward.
Love that. So important. I think that if we practice functional medicine from an early age, we could all live healthier lives, in my personal opinion. So I think functional medicine is something that's really important. And can functional medicine provide better insights into individual health needs?
Well, that's exactly what it does. It's truly personalized. We all have the same color blood, but genetically we're made up differently. So if we are having these hormone imbalances, maybe we're going through some menopause, we're having heart disease or diabetes, weight gain, what is going to work? Well, we need to do testing to see what is happening on the inside so that we can provide you a targeted plan moving forward. So functional medicine is a truly personalized approach, and it's unique to you.
Love that. I think that it's such an important thing. I'm going to ask you a question that's a little off the grid, but how early in life do you think we should start introducing functional medicine?
Well, diseases start with 5-10 years before we actually feel that cardiac disease or experience that cardiometabolic diabetes. So really, we should be doing functional medicine at a very early age. It starts with food is medicine, movement is medicine. And then, of course, if things are happening in our life where we think, you know what, I feel my mental status has changed. I'm experiencing some depression. I'm gaining some weight. Things are changing in my body. That's when you need to seek testing to see what's going on. But foundational, movement is medicine, food is medicine, sets you up for success.
I love that. And how do lifestyle habits and external factors like the environment influence one's health in context of functional medicine?
Well, so much. Functional medicine takes a holistic approach. So while we do get down to that cellular genetic level to understand what's going on with your body, we recognize there's other drivers to really influence that gene. One of them is lifestyle, so movement, the amount of exercise you get, what you're eating in your diet, but then also the environment in which you live in. Potentially your environment has a lot of mold. You're experiencing toxins in your day-to-day products that you don't even realize is affecting your overall health.
So important for all of us to take note of. I truly believe in everything you just said. I think that it is such a key answer. And I love the fact that you've been a nurse and you've been in healthcare for so long and experienced kind of the traditional medication, pharmaceutical way of treating patients. But I am such a believer in functional medicine and living more holistically so that we can prevent the pharmaceutical side of medicine coming into practice. And would you say that people tend to live a longer, healthier life when functional medicine is put in place at an earlier age?
Absolutely, because there will be less need to be on pills. If you're not on pills, the pills are managing symptoms. They're not actually treating the disease. And so eventually you will need that stent and heart bypass surgery, and you will need to access the hospital. I'd rather live life by not accessing the hospital and not being on any medications. And in order to do that, you need functional medicine and you need to live a healthy, active lifestyle.
I love that. So true. It's kind of the way that I preach to everyone around me, but I've seen both sides of the spectrum in my family and with people that I work with. And so I have one more question since we have a little bit of time. Being your background in medicine, what are your thoughts on some of these scans that can help us understand what we're looking at for the future, to have those earlier on? I'm a believer. I know I just scheduled mine, so I'm excited to hear your insight.
Yes, we harness the best-in-class testing and imaging here at Health Code Medical. And so what's fantastic about these new age scans is not only are they radiation-free, so you don't have to worry about causing more harm, but it provides a wonderful window into the health of our bodies. And not just looking for cancers and scary things, but also celebrating the good things. It may tell you have a really strong spine, strong bones and muscles, your organs look great. That would give you more confidence to think, I might take up skiing or a sport that maybe does require a bit of, strength on your side. And so these new age tests that are coming out, whether blood testing or imaging, we harness it, we bring it in-house. The more insight, the better.
Love that. Thank you so much. And thank you for being with us today. Can you tell us, where can we find you?
Yes, healthcodemedical.ca or Lisa Brooking on LinkedIn.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. We hope to have you back again very, very soon. It was an honor and pleasure. And with that, we will be right back after this commercial break.
Are you ready to shake up the world of health with me? Welcome to Disruptive Health, where we are flipping the script on traditional wellness. I'm Dr. Denise Brown, and on this show, we are diving deep into the latest trends and breakthroughs in health and wellness. Whether you're curious about nutrition, exploring new therapies, or just want to live your best life, Disruptive Health is your guide. Don't miss Disruptive Health, coming soon to NowMedia TV.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
Welcome back to Biz Talk, everyone. I am your host, Rachel Weaver. I am thrilled to have with me today Lalit. He is the CEO of Digital X-Force, and I trust X-Force. It is such an honor and pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Rachel. Pleasure is mine. Thank you.
I am excited to dive right in to talk to you today about insider threats. As scary as that might sound, it actually is scary. But how can I mitigate the risks of insider threats, such as disgruntled employees, for example, in business?
Yeah. So, Rachel, let me actually tell you a little story before, or a use case before we get into this, because people don't fully realize and how important this is. But it is a critical aspect, the insider threat aspect in any business. There was a utility company out on the West Coast. Okay, this was a few years back we're talking about. One of the employees who pretty much like controlled the whole utility department over there did not feel that he was properly appraised and given promotion, and he felt bad about it. And guess what? He locks everything, all the systems, and walks away. And nobody has any clue on what's going on because he had the keys to the kingdom. That's an example of insider threat, like how one person who, for now, there could be a variety of reasons. This was like more like logical, like, I didn't get promoted and I'm not happy about it. And I don't like, not interested in this anymore. And you screw the organization right over there. But there could be many other, reasons why you should be paying attention to scenarios such as insider threat. Now, what is needed to mitigate this kind of insider threats is, number one, the philosophy of be able to, number one, define what is insider threat for you. Be having a process to identify and detect, and then be able to manage the insider threat, like when that happens, like how to manage it and be able to respond to it. That's the technique you really want to really employ in there. Now, the common methods that you really, once you kind of done that you deploy to really mitigate those risks is, number one, train your employees and train your users and conduct the regular trainings on that matter. Always coordinate between information technology and the HR department, sometimes even the legal department if you have one, right? Because there's no shortage, where some instances like this really has happened, and your IT needs to work with the HR and other departments to really make sure these threats are mitigated. Also, expect sometimes the bad things will happen. So have some kind of a threat hunting team in place, or forensics and stuff when those things happen. What if somebody steals your IP, intellectual property, and leaves? What are you going to do then? So you need to have that in place as well. And then, of course, employ the user behavior analytics, because sometimes the behavior of how you're behaving, oh, Rachel is not logging in proper times, or she's trying to access certain files which she never done before. Like the certain activities they should start doing, or sending a lot of, content, over the emails, over the wire, or take like, things at home and other things, right? Will crop up. So you got to like, employ the user behavior analytics solutions to really also make sure you're able to mitigate the risk. So those are some of the common methods you deploy for that.
Wow. Super interesting story, first of all, but such great information, because it really is something that we need to keep in mind, especially growing companies, and you become so focused on the growth and maybe build trust in people faster than we might, typically need to. And this can bring about things that we don't want to think about, but we really should. So
exactly,
such great information. So what tools and practices can help in monitoring employee behavior for potential threats, so we know what to watch for?
Well, some of the kind of tools and technology, or even call as procedures, right, that you can deploy for insider threat prevention, that will include, start with like, setting some kind of a policy, some kind of point of reference, like what you should do and how to really deploy like, such things. Then always kind of like, put together some kind of a threat detection governance program, like including who are the stakeholders, like from legal or from IT or from HR, that needs to be notified when something like this happens, right? And who needs to follow. Especially in a country like ours, like in the US, you can also be victim of where people like, feel like discriminated because you might like take certain action and people might sue you for certain things as an employer doing, why you're taking that action. So it's very important your policy defines those methods, and then how you really kind of trying to mitigate threat while not like invading into the privacy of the users itself, right? The other thing then is like secure your infrastructure, your network, like including, what if Rachel has access to all the data on the servers or in her machine, and she can plug in a USB drive and take all the data out, right? Or she has access to social media and she can blast if she's not happy with something, or she finds like some other motivation, she blasts all my data on the social media and stuff. How to like really protect that infrastructure, the network, and also map your exposure. What channels can be exploited when something like an insider threat happens, so that my damage is limited over there. Of course, you also want to make sure like, the security controls, like whether it's strong authentication. We talked about like, how to have proper access for proper users, or data being encrypted and other things, right? Put in place there. Prevent any kind of data exfiltration. Like one of the most common use case that we really see when insider threat happens, people want to take all your sensitive data and the files or IP like away with you. So make sure that data infiltration processes are in place, right? And always monitor any kind of like, ideal data that's sitting in your environment, like, why, or this idle accounts, because they can come back and like really be used for malicious purposes. So these are some of the things like, as the best practices for insider threat prevention in any environment.
Very good information. So what should be included in an employee exit strategy to protect business data?
Yeah. So the big thing is first communication itself. So when someone is leaving or like something like this happening, make sure the folks like, within the company, whether it's the IT or the HR department, even the people who are working with this person, like, that we have identified as an insider threat, they've been communicated, like, when the person is leaving or not. Making sure that the access is properly taken care of means you disable the access and change the passwords and stuff. Also recover any kind of assets that are owned by this person, right? Like whether it's the mobile devices, whether it's a laptop or machine, or even other kind of like, things that have been assigned. And that's the reason why asset management, like asset inventory, comes in play. Make sure you analyze the data or those devices as well as other systems for, no malicious activity happen, and then do the proper data remediation. Sometimes, by the way, you'll also have to keep those devices and stuff for a certain period of time, just in case you are part of the litigation and stuff. So important criteria to follow. Don't just clean up the day one, everything. Check with your legal and privacy, like what's the kind of like the data retention policies or other things that you have to really do for a certain period of time. And then, of course, make sure, you are monitoring the systems and the devices and any actions on the network, for that kind of user when they've left, right, over there. Last but not the least, there are times when you will need a forensics expert because you're part of the litigation or you suspect there's some IP and other things. Make sure you have those kind of contexts and, processes and teams ready at your disposal when you need them. Don't be stranded at the last minute. So these are some of the things that you can employ to as part of the employee exit strategy, right, to protect your business data.
Such great information. Really appreciate you being on and sharing your expertise. Where can we find you?
Well, you can reach us on our websites, whether it's digitalexforce.com or itrustexforce.com. There's a lot of valuable data information provided and shared every day, every week with the audience. Of course,